Hare Krishna, Sanjay here, and chapter 13 is where the Gita stops being a conversation about life and becomes a direct inquiry into existence itself. No battlefield today, no arrows, just Krishna, Arjuna, and the most ancient question known to humanity: who am I? Chapter 13, Part 1: The Body as a Field, Kshetra and its Knower, scenes 13.1 to 13.8. Let's step in together. Introduction: The Eye that Watches the Mind. Scene: the field of Kurukshetra glows under a dusty sun. The clamor of armies has quieted, replaced by the stillness of dialogue. Arjuna, seated in his chariot, feels a deep shift, no longer asking, "What should I do?" but "Who am I?" Then Krishna, the eternal teacher, begins to guide Arjuna into the subtler dimension of awareness itself. After teaching devotion and surrender, he now points toward knowledge, not book knowledge, but the knowledge that liberates. Krishna says there are two things to understand: Kshetra the field and Kshetrajna the knower of the field. The field is everything that can be observed: the body, mind, emotions, senses, and the world itself. The knower is the silent witness, the awareness that experiences but is untouched by what it observes. Arjuna listens intently. He realizes that this teaching is not abstract, it's about his very being. He has spent his life identifying with the warrior, the son, the brother, the roles within the field. But now Krishna invites him to see the one who plays all roles without being any of them. This is the beginning of self-knowledge, the art of watching the mind rather than being ruled by it. Now, for us today, this teaching is astonishingly relevant. In a world filled with distractions, emotions, and information overload, most people live lost in their field, reacting to thoughts, moods, possessions, and opinions. Krishna invites us to step back, to see instead of become. The moment you realize, "I am not my thoughts," suffering begins to dissolve. When you understand that your mind is part of the field, but you are the knower, you reclaim inner freedom. This is not philosophy, it's awareness in practice. It's mindfulness with divine depth, the recognition that your consciousness is eternal while everything else changes. Focus. True self-knowledge is not found by changing the world, but by recognizing the witness within. The body and mind are your instruments, not your identity. Scene 13.1. Arjuna seeks knowledge. Scene: Arjuna said, "O Krishna, I wish to understand the nature of Prakriti, matter, and Purusha, spirit, of the field and the knower of the field, and of knowledge and the object of knowledge." Then, Arjuna's question is pure and precise. Having learned devotion and surrender, he now seeks understanding not for argument, but for liberation. He senses that his confusion stems not from battle, but from misidentification. He has mistaken the body for the self, the field for the knower. Krishna smiles. This is the question he has been waiting for. The student is ready to move beyond faith into realization. Now, this question echoes through modern consciousness too. Who am I beyond my body, mind, and story? It is the question behind every spiritual path, every meditation, every search for meaning. We chase wealth, success, and pleasure, yet deep within, we know none of these define us. We are aware of our bodies aging, our thoughts changing, our emotions fluctuating, but something constant watches it all. That watcher is the Kshetrajna, the true self. Focus. The quest for truth begins when you stop asking, "What can I get?" and start asking, "Who am I really?" Scene 13.2. The Field and the Knower. Scene: the Blessed Lord said, "O Arjuna, this body is called the field, and he who knows this body is called the knower of the field by those who understand." Then, Krishna reveals the heart of the teaching. The body, mind, senses all belong to the field. They are constantly changing, interacting, growing, and decaying. But within this field lives the silent knower, the one who sees, experiences, and remains unchanged. The body may fall ill, but the witness does not suffer. The mind may wander, but the witness observes it. This is the essence of self-knowledge, realizing that awareness is untouched by the waves of experience. For Arjuna, this is revolutionary. Until now he has identified as the doer, the warrior. Krishna's words turn the mirror inward. You are not the fighter on the field, Arjuna. You are the awareness watching the fighter. Now, in our daily lives, we confuse the field for the self. We say, "I am angry, I am tired, I am happy, identifying with the emotion rather than the observer. Krishna's wisdom invites us to reframe. Anger is arising, fatigue is felt, happiness is passing, and I am watching. This shift from identification to observation is freedom itself. Focus. You are not the body or the mind, you are the awareness witnessing them. Once you see this, nothing can enslave you again. Scene 13.3, the Supreme Knower. Scene. Know me also, O Arjuna, as the knower in all fields. The knowledge of the field and the knower is true knowledge. Then, Krishna expands the teaching beyond the individual. The knower in your body and the knower in all beings is the same consciousness, the divine itself. The awareness that looks through your eyes is the same that looks through every pair of eyes. This is the sacred unity underlying diversity. The body differs, the mind differs, but consciousness is one. The same light shines through countless lamps. For Arjuna, this revelation bridges devotion and knowledge. The Krishna before him and the self within him are not two. Now, in our modern spiritual understanding, this verse resonates with the idea of universal consciousness. We call it awareness, soul, or God, but it is the same reality living through all beings. To know this is to transcend separation, prejudice, and fear. When you see others not as them but as different expressions of the same awareness, compassion becomes effortless. Focus. God is not somewhere else, He is the knower within all. To recognize this unity is to know truth. Scene 13.4, the Ancient Wisdom. Scene. Hear briefly, O Arjuna, what this field is, what its modifications are, and from whom it arises, and who the knower of the field is. This has been sung by the sages in many ways. Then, Krishna now situates his teaching within the eternal lineage of wisdom. This is not a new doctrine, but a timeless truth, echoed in every scripture and seer's vision. The sages, through meditation and insight, have always spoken of two realities, the ever-changing and the changeless. The body belongs to change, the soul belongs to eternity. The world moves, the self watches. The field arises, plays, and dissolves. The knower remains untouched. For Arjuna, this feels like remembering something ancient yet familiar, as if Krishna's words are awakening what his soul already knows. Now, this verse reminds us that spiritual truth is not invention but rediscovery. Every path, whether through science, art, or silence, eventually points to the same realization: the observer is separate from what is observed. We are heirs to this timeless science of consciousness. The Upanishads, the Buddha, the mystics of every faith all echo the same insight: know the self and you know all. Focus. True wisdom is ancient yet ever new. The eternal awareness watching all changes your real identity. Scene 13.5, the field described by the sages. Scene. This knowledge of the field has been sung by the sages in many ways, declared in various scriptures, and defined with reason and logic. Then Krishna continues, reminding Arjuna that what he teaches is not new. The seers of old, those who meditated deeply, lived purely, and saw truth beyond illusion, all spoke of this dual reality: the Kshetra, field, and the Kshetrajna, knower. Every ancient tradition echoes this wisdom. The body and mind are transient. Consciousness is eternal. Through sound, meditation, and sacrifice, the sages explored the inner cosmos and discovered that liberation lies not in changing the field, but in knowing the one who observes it. Krishna's statement carries a powerful undertone. Wisdom is not bound by time or culture. The truth of awareness is the same in every age and every being. Now, in today's world, we see the same timeless truth through different languages. Neuroscience speaks of the observer effect. Psychology speaks of awareness, and mindfulness teaches the same separation between experience and experiencer. Science studies the field. Spirituality studies the knower. When both meet, wisdom becomes whole. This verse reminds us to honor lineage. Every insight we awaken today was once sung by sages in silence. Knowledge is not ownership, it's continuation. Focus. The wisdom of self-awareness is eternal, rediscovered in every age. It invites you to be the observer, not the observed. Scene 13.6, the elements of the field. Scene. The field consists of the five great elements: earth, water, fire, air, and ether, as well as the ego, intellect, the unmanifest, the 10 senses, the mind, and the 5 sense objects. Then, Krishna now breaks down the anatomy of existence, both physical and psychological. He lists the building blocks of life: the 5 elements that form the body, the 5 senses that receive the world, the mind that processes, the ego that claims, and the intellect that discriminates. This is not a list of theory but a map of awareness. Everything you can observe, from the body's sensations to the mind's thoughts, belongs to the field. None of it is the self. For Arjuna, this knowledge is transformative. Until now, he thought the field was just the physical body. Krishna reveals that even the subtlest thoughts and feelings are part of the field; they too can be observed. Now, this insight is crucial for modern seekers. We often believe we are our thoughts or emotions. Krishna liberates us from that illusion. Anger, desire, pride, fear, these arise in the field like clouds in the sky, while awareness remains the open space in which they appear. The world outside and the world inside are both temporary expressions of the same material principle. The witness, your true self, is beyond them both. Focus: everything that changes body, senses, emotions, thoughts is the field. The changeless witness behind them is you. Scene 13.7, the inner movements of the field. Scene: desire, hatred, pleasure, pain, the physical body, intelligence, and steadfastness, these, O Arjuna, are also declared to be part of the field. Then, Krishna expands further. The field includes not just physical and sensory elements, but also the inner experiences that color human life: love, anger, joy, suffering, attachment, determination. These are not separate from nature, they are nature in motion. Arjuna begins to understand that everything he has been struggling with, his despair, guilt, and confusion, belongs to the field. The one who witnesses these feelings is not affected by them. For the first time, Arjuna sees the possibility of peace even in the midst of war. His inner storms are not him, they are part of the play of Prakriti, the field. Now, this verse feels almost therapeutic for modern minds. We are conditioned to believe our emotions define us. Krishna dissolves this belief. Feelings come and go. Awareness remains. The key to emotional freedom is not suppression but observation. When you recognize anger as a movement in the field, not your identity, it loses control over you. Krishna is not teaching detachment from life, but detachment from misidentification, the art of experiencing without being consumed. Focus. You are not what you feel. You are the one who knows the feeling. Awareness is untouched by the storms it observes. Scene 13.8, the field as divine play. Scene: thus briefly, the field and its modifications have been described to know this is true knowledge. Then, Krishna summarizes the teaching so far. Everything that can be seen, touched, felt, or thought, from the physical body to the subtle mind, belongs to the field. The field is dynamic, changing, filled with creation's diversity. But the purpose of understanding the field is not analysis, it's realization. Once you know what belongs to the field, you stop confusing it with the self. You live in the world without losing yourself in it. Arjuna listens silently. He now sees his emotions, his fear of killing, his love for family, all as part of this vast impersonal field of experience. Behind them all stands awareness, steady, compassionate, eternal. Now, in modern spirituality, this insight bridges science and self-realization. The universe is energy, the self is consciousness. The dance of matter and awareness is the foundation of existence. When you understand this, life stops being chaos and becomes play, the lila of creation. You still act, feel, and think, but without attachment. Focus. To know the field is wisdom. To know the knower is liberation. Play your part fully, but remember, you are not the play. Closing summary: the field and the witness. Scene: the battlefield once again becomes an allegory for life itself. Arjuna sits calm, no longer bound by confusion, as Krishna's words illuminate the unseen layers of his being. Then, through these verses, 13.1, 13.8, Krishna has redefined the meaning of self-knowledge. He has shown that all of human experience, body, mind, emotions, and intellect, is the field, the domain of change. The self, the knower, is changeless, pure awareness that observes all without being bound by any. This chapter marks the birth of discernment, viveka, The ability to see the difference between the eternal and the temporary. The field is movement, the knower is stillness. The field is appearance, the knower is reality. Arjuna's battlefield, once external, now reflects the inner one, the clash between identification and awareness. Krishna teaches that liberation, moksha, begins when one stops fighting within and starts watching with clarity. Now, for us, this teaching is revolutionary. Modern life keeps us hypnotized by the field, our jobs, relationships, roles, successes, and struggles. We live reacting, not reflecting. Krishna's wisdom is a mirror. Step back, see the game, and realize you are not a piece but the player. This realization transforms how we live. You can still work, love, and struggle, but now you know these belong to the field. The awareness that watches remains serene. This knowledge does not detach you from life, it deepens your participation. When you see yourself as awareness, compassion blossoms naturally. You stop blaming, clinging, or fearing, for you know the self cannot be harmed. Focus, the field changes endlessly, the knower remains eternal. When you live as awareness, life becomes clear, effortless, and sacred. Sit with what you have seen today. The field changes, it ages, it aches, it ends. But the knower of the field, Krishna tells us, never does. That is not philosophy. That is the most important thing you will ever know about yourself. Until our next scene, Hare Krishna.